I have a really stupid question.
Oh, I'm for stupid answers, so go ahead.
You're listening to a mostly harmless cutaway.
Mostly harmless. Mostly harmless? Oh, come. I think that's pretty good coverage for this disintegrated pile of rubble.
Hi, this is Eric.
This is Josh.
This is Sean.
And this is Isaac.
And welcome back! It's been a while since Christmas, but it's another Doctor Who Mostly Harmless Cutaway, episode 184. I'm not anticipating any dots on this one, even though we're bringing you another classic Doctor Who commentary. How long has it been since we've done one? 10 years? I don't know.
It's about the same amount of time since we've had a whole number as an episode.
We've had plenty of whole numbers. But for those joining us and haven't heard us do a commentary or anything like that in a long time, the whole reason this came about was not just because Josh loves doing Doctor Who commentaries, but because Isaac, who joined us last time, that was his very first viewing of any Doctor Who program ever. And he had stated off and on again offline that he'd be interested in watching more Doctor Who. But Isaac, you're the kind of person who likes to go chronologically in release order, right?
This is correct. I know, obviously, this show, you don't need to... You can start anywhere, really. I mean, you can start with the modern stuff, whatever modern means, because there is no such thing as modern. But I just like, to go back to the very beginning. Like, for instance, if I listen to, I hear like a track on the radio or something like that, I'm like, ooh, that band sounds pretty interesting. I'll go back to the very beginning, because it's kind of like, for instance, pardon me for, hijacking this for a second. It's like when I listened to David Bowie's first album, and he sounds so different. He sounds so British. It's so charming and great. All of you got to go out there and listen to, I forget what the title of, the album is called, but like, oh, it was so fun and whimsical, and he's like a Willy Wonka almost. It's so like heartwarming and charming. So go out there and listen to David Bowie's first album.
Love David Bowie.
Good day, sir. Sorry, I was just...
But I don't think I've ever... but that's a tease. But I don't think I've ever listened to his first album before, now that I think about it. And there's a little bit of music that sounds a little prog rocky in this episode we're about to begin. So, I mean, we've got 4 more episodes to chat. I'll let Josh take over the controls of the console here.
Thank you very much. And if you have your legally purchased DVD of An Unearthly Child, you'll find that there's kind of 2 episodes. One's the pilot episode, one's the first episode. So we are actually watching the regular broadcast version from November 22nd. Was it November 23rd?
23rd, sir. We'll talk about that.
November 23rd, 1963. A day that'll live in infamy. So it's the one this is 1. And we will start it in 3, 2, 1, play. Of course, there's that, delay on the DVD is usually.
Isaac, thoughts on this opening title sequence?
Yeah, this is really original from 63.
I have to wonder if... I don't know who created the title sequence, but I definitely have to wonder if Rod Serling watched this, or I would say if Kubrick was watching this at all, and then went forward with it later on to then do a certain sequence in a certain movie based off of a certain book.
It's all possible, but Serling... did you say Rod Serling?
Rod Serling, apologies.
Okay, all right. I thought you said Serling, and I was going to say, well, this is actually... Serling was before this.
There's a nice Bobby, something we never really saw in 7% Solution.
Also, like, this thing, the title sequence goes on and on and on and on and on, which is only done in the first episode, of course.
Yeah, it's almost like the opening of Goodfellas or something. Yeah. Man, I wonder if Scorsese saw this when he was in high school.
It was very basic.
By the way, I looked it up. David Bowie's first album was called David Bowie.
See? That's why folks come to MHC. Fun facts like that.
It's unique.
Ooh, what is that? Besides Doctor Who, have you ever seen one of these before? Like in an image or anything, Isaac? Police box.
Like what image you mean?
The police box.
Oh,
Have
the
you ever
police
seen-
box.
Outside of seeing something that's Doctor Who related, have you ever
I
seen
mean,
that
oh,
image
okay. I mean,
before?
we're not counting telephone booths and a certain mild-mannered reporter changing into Speedos, right? Or his underwear.
No. We're talking about British police boxes.
I've been to Britain once, but it was in Heathrow Airport, so I never went outside.
Oh,
So no, I never did.
They weren't reenacting Time Lash or anything like that? Or was it-
Unfortunately, no. I was looking at the runways and I didn't see any players recreating this scene here. I was a little
Oh,
disappointed. by
not this one, a different episode. But...
Oh, different episode.
Gotcha.
Oh, well, no, I really didn't see anything. Actually, have they ever filmed in Heathrow?
Yes.
That's why I bring
Yes,
it
they
up.
have.
Oh, there you go. If it was in the area I was in,
We'll do that one next, you guys. Let's.
Oh my god.
not a bad idea.
No, it is. It is a terrible idea. It's called Time Flight, and it's literally the worst Doctor Who story.
It's not the worst.
It's
I would argue it's not the worst.
Space Babies is worse, but
Oh, I was just thinking classic.
It's not even the worst classic.
I'm never going to forget Space Babies for the rest of my life.
Are we doing that one next?
No, we're not. No, we're not. Oh, some listener notes. The intention, at least at this point, until the plan changes, is after we finish commentating on all the episodes for this first story,
Well, I thought you meant classic.
we're then going to do a commentary on Rose. And then after Rose, we'll be back with probably Edge of Destruction or whatever.
You mean the Daleks, right?
Right. But we're not going to do all the Hartnells, and obviously we're not going to do all the Troughtons either.
God, we'd be here forever.
No.
Especially when we have to reenact them or commentate on audio plays or telesnaps. But no.
Oh, that sounds thrilling.
We're gonna do Marco Polo next.
So get ready to start your audiobook. In 3, 2, 1. No, we're going to do select stories from the 60s black and white era. But once we get to Spearhead in Space, at least right now, the plan is to do every story after that.
Spirit from space.
See, now, okay, some of my initial feelings the first time I saw this, approximately 15 years ago or something, was I think this episode is cracking. It's great. It's fantastic.
What exactly is it cracking?
I got that from Wallace and Gromit. But anyway, cracking toast, Gromit. But the problem with it when I was doing like sort of my first watch of classics I had never seen 15 years ago and doing them chronologically is that this episode is so amazing right out the gate for 1963, but it's almost like false advertisement of what the weekly episodes will be like for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of my only issues with it. Because I hate in modern times when you watch a show and the first episode blows you away and then it's like, what happened after that?
I wouldn't say that this episode blows anybody away. I mean, it is establishing for sure.
No, it does for... No. If you've watched other classic Doctor Who, even Color,
Never seen them.
you're surprised like how much effort and intent they put into just this single episode. With the camera shots or even handheld shots and zooms and change of focus.
To be fair, they filmed it 48 times. So that's probably the reason.
They didn't film it 48 times, Isaac.
49 times.
They filmed it twice, but the fact of the matter is they spent a long time trying to get this script good enough to go out, and it's just all the changes that were made are just kind of like small little issues and nothing major. But they spent a lot of time on this first episode. A lot of time. Way too much.
Yes, and not just with the script And, I've told Isaac a little bit about this offline, but how classic Doctor Who, especially black and white era, is largely filmed live, like sitcoms in the 80s or prior. There's not like a bunch of, let's do it again, take 4. No. They're the actors are basically like stage performers and have everything memorized, well, at least at this stage. I mean, it's not going to be that way later, but they have everything memorized. And so they've rehearsed, they know where to hit their spots, like on a stage. The cameraman knows he needs to run over there, because I don't know if they have 2 to 4 cameras, probably not 4 cameras. And, and you see all the effort that's put, look how they're changing focus when they switch from Ian right there and then to Barbara.
So Isaac, if you find this interesting, I would definitely recommend checking out An Adventure in Time and Space. Am I getting the name right?
Yes.
Which that came out in the 50th anniversary, and it's basically a retelling of, the beginning of Doctor Who and how William Hartnell got into it and Dalek Mania and all the rest of that. And,
it's not a documentary. It's a drama, movie.
And it's quite good.
It is.
And this gentleman, William Russell, by the way, he died this last year.
That's Ian. That's the male school teacher.
Yes.
Very old man. And he is, I don't remember who he's married to, but...
She's like Brazilian, I believe. Or from a Brazilian isle.
Yeah. Because his son is in the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, Dean Thomas.
That's
his biological son. If you know who Dean Thomas is.
It rings a bell.
He's the tall, slender black boy in Gryffindor.
Black boy in Gryffindor.
Well, because there's another black kid, but he's the tall, slender one.
Oh, what was his name? Yeah, it's escaping me right now.
Dean Thomas?
Well, no, the character in the book.
I think it's Dean Thomas.
Oh, okay. Well, what's his son's name?
Dean Thomas is the character in Harry Potter that his son plays.
Yeah, but what's the actor's name?
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Feel free to talk about images on screen.
Okay.
Flashback. I mean, we just had a flashback sequence. That's not something you see very often in classic Doctor Who.
The thing is this episode itself is its own story, right?
Yeah, also unique.
So the episodes that come after this are its own story too. So literally you could call this one An Unearthly Child, and the next 3, The Tribe of Gum, or whatever they decided to call it, something of that nature.
True. And we'll explain nomenclature, perhaps not right now, but along the way on this journey, Isaac.
Maybe you can explain the nomenclature to me.
That would be silly. That'd be the student educating the teacher.
No. Somebody in Doctor Who fandom knows what car that is specifically, and it's not me.
His name is Ian Levine.
I was gonna say that. Sean stole my joke.
Why is it always Ian?
Or Matt, imagine having that car to collect, Eric, if you will.
Stop it. It's probably worth 50 pence now.
Stop.
Private joke.
Or it should be shillings, I guess, because they're not on a decimal system.
That is creepy. I've never really noticed that mannequin before.
Yeah, it's got no arms, no head, no legs. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't see it, but I think it had no arms.
That makes sense.
I think they mentioned the mannequin on IMDb trivia for this episode.
How did he drop the flashlight so quickly there?
Torch.
The torch, sorry. Here in America, we call it flashlights. Actually, torch makes more sense, quite frankly. It doesn't flash.
Yeah, we call it Flashlight Wood is the series with Captain Jack over here on Stars. But the anagram doesn't work. Doesn't make sense.
Very, very good, Eric. If I had a lot more to drink tonight, I would have laughed my ass off. It's a police box. Is Bill and Ted here?
Oh dear.
Would you say it's bigger than a bread box?
It's alive.
Slightly bigger.
Okay.
And you know what? I mean, you will admit that Bill and Ted, all that stuff came from Doctor
Yeah,
Who,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know why they went with the red one. It just like stupid.
I don't know. Guy who goes in at mild mannered reporter and changes into his underwear.
Fair enough.
So Will Russell's biological son is named Alfred Enoch.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's his real last name is Enoch. William Enoch is his real name. Or was his real name. He's no longer with us now.
Really?
Yeah, he died not that long ago, like about a year ago or something. He was 99.
Wait. No.
Okay, you're talking about William
Russell's real
Russell.
last
Oh,
name.
okay.
Yeah, William Russell. William Russell died about a year ago.
Right. Yes, we knew that, but we thought you were implying that his son had died.
No,
also.
I've never met his son.
Yeah, they were both found deceased in the same house. The son was upstairs with the family dog.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, William Russell, really classy guy. Very classy. I have somewhere, I can't find it, but I do have a picture with his autograph on it.
Oh, Isaac, fun fact.
That's worth about probably 20 and a half cents. No, I'm just kidding. It's
At least a ciggy from
it's worth
Camille
a ciggy.
Kadori.
For sure.
Fun fact, MHC, Doctor Who fact. Some of us on this recording met the director of this episode that we're watching right now.
Good grief.
Really?
He must have been. Like,
Mr.
Yeah.
Hussein?
Yes, Mr. Hussein, not of the same lineage.
cool guy.
Absolutely.
He's still with us too.
Yeah,
Good
and it's crazy
grief.
because he was the director, right? Obviously, in 1963.
So it says in the teleplay.
We met him around 10 years ago, and the dude seemed really young and spry, visually
He was.
and physically. Like you were like, how old are you when you directed this? Like 4 years old?
Yeah, he
Like-
was in his 20s, and he was, I guess, the first Indian,
Yeah.
a British Indian that ever directed a series or something. It was like it was
Holy
all groundbreaking
shoot.
stuff.
Oh yeah, they had one of the first female producers, and
Verity
and
Lambert. Yeah.
a lot of groundbreaking stuff happened with this episode.
Well, I'll be darned.
Yeah, they were they were progressive even back then. But let's just say in a good way.
I'll make a kind of dumb and obvious, very like low-hanging fruit observation. William Hartnell is the actor playing this Dr. Foreman character, right?
Yes.
There.
Yes.
You've contributed a fun fact.
Well, okay, obviously. Very baseless, very, again, bog standard, very like obvious. Definitely looks similar to Peter Cushing and gives me like Grand Moff Tarkin vibes.
Well,
Well,
who
there
wants
just happens to be
who
a
wants to
story there.
respond to that. Who wants
just
to,
There's a story that goes along with that.
Because of course there would be.
who wants to explain to Isaac? I'll rest.
Sean, do you want me to, or do you want to?
I don't know. You better do it, Josh. I don't know the story.
Okay, it's not that difficult. Actually, that's a really interesting observation because Peter Cushing actually did play Doctor Who.
Oh yeah.
This
Okay, that's
role
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
in two movies, and almost third movie. So they actually redid the Daleks, which is the story that's after this one, and they had Peter Cushing play Doctor Who. Actually, he wasn't the Doctor; he was Doctor Who, and he came from Earth, and he had like a granddaughter and whatever. And it went into theaters, so it was actually in color. So even though it was the same story almost the same story as the Daleks, they were able to sell it and get people to watch it in the theater in color. They did the same with Dalek Invasion of Earth, which comes a season later from this, with Peter Cushing again in the role, and it was all in color. It was pretty amazing. And Isaac, if you can get a hold of, actual Doctor Who and the Daleks from the mid 60s, and Doctor Who Invasion of Earth 2150, they're kind of fun to watch.
They're both
Different perspective.
like really restored. They've both been re-released like 2 times in the last 5 years. First on Blu-ray, and then I think it's in 4K physical in Europe, I think.
I have never seen either one of those movies.
What?
Oh, you should watch. Oh, Sean, you should definitely see them.
Yeah,
I
know.
have the Blu-rays. It's just fun to have, and I remember watching it like late night on when I knew Doctor Who. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Oh, that's bizarre. I saw the Invasion of Earth theatrical film before I saw An Unearthly Child.
Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na.
Sean, those movies kind of remind me of 1963 Time Machine, except with better production values.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, is that the whole case behind this entire series where like maybe somebody got wind of, hey, let's make like, the Time Machine adaptation, and we can't do it. It's like its rights are being held. All right, we'll just make this like, quacky wahoo yakadoodle pizza man guy, and he'll be in this like, police box and go through time.
Well, I'll save that discussion for when H.G. Wells appears on the show.
No. I will say,
No.
Isaac, there is a story about how Doctor Who was created, and it's a very long story. Not something. Oh God, the dogs again. Anyway,
We're doing a commentary here.
the bark in space.
Yeah. Doc Brown was sitting on his toilet, had an idea.
He had an idea. Yeah, exactly. He was standing on his toilet. Wasn't he standing on it? And then he hit his head.
He was standing. He was changing the clock, I believe.
Yeah. Anyway,
Slip fell and it hit on his head.
The story's fascinating, but it's not generally from H.G. Wells. They were looking for a Saturday afternoon show for kids, basically, or for the family, and they decided it was either going to be some time traveler or something else. I'm really not giving it justice by saying these things. There is a documentary on this. Go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
And what they would do is they would make it family viewing. So like one story would be like a science fiction based story. And then the next story would be a historical story, set around Marco Polo or the Reign of Terror or whatever.
Exactly. They switched back and forth in the beginning. Yeah.
So with this, after the TARDIS takes off here and they end up in the Stone Age, that's a historical story. And then the story after that is the Daleks, which is the introduction of the Daleks. And that's your sci-fi story.
Now,
which is important because, Barbara is a history teacher and Ian is a science teacher. See what they did there? Nudge,
yes.
Nudge, nudge.
But also, the Dalek story, when we get to it, that rips from the H.G. Wells novel.
Oh, yeah.
Quite a lot.
Absolutely.
I don't know why Terry Nation gets all those royalties. He should be splitting it with the H.G. Wells.
Well,
Foundation.
he did create the creature, but he didn't even design it. It was designed by somebody else.
Yeah, but that's like saying I helped Vanilla Ice write it and I, contributed on the drum kit.
That's right.
It wasn't Queen. It was me.
That exactly tails or it's exactly the same thing, Eric.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Take a drink. That's our first Vanilla Ice reference on this podcast. I'm sure there'll be.
We're gonna bring it up every single episode.
Yeah. It'll replace my
This part where the TARDIS takes off, I always found this kind of hokey.
It's also like, we're going to show this thing for the first time, so it's going to last like for 22 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is I never saw them use this electricity methodology on the console ever again.
Yeah.
It's like this hat and the pipe.
This reminds me of the pilot of The Next Generation, Encounter at Farpoint.
Totally agreed. No.
Yes, when they do the separation of the saucer section, and it's this grandiose production, and it takes like 5 minutes, and you almost never see it again ever.
But it's so cool when they do it. It's so cool.
I can't tell if Josh is being serious or not.
No, in that scenario, that was really cool. I mean that.
Okay.
And then Wesley Crusher science experiment blew up and created monsters. And
what do you think of this console room, Isaac, as it's called?
It didn't change for 26 years.
Of the times, very, very much of the times. I mean that, like, I don't know if actually wait, yeah, I was gonna say like this definitely beat Star Trek just because that wasn't for a few more years after that.
3 more years.
So, Definitely different. They were moving away from like probably what they saw of Forbidden Planet or of some of the saucers and reused saucers and interiors of the Twilight Zone or whatever the Americans were doing. I just gotta say, who came up with the I guess time traveling sequence? Like it's very like well done. Like definitely trippy. I'll say that much. Like for again thinking in using Eric's mentality of all right, transport yourself back into a person in the 60s. Like this is I mean like I don't know if you meant to like say like did I just drop acid or something like that? Like
Yeah, and this is before that became popular too.
It was experimental at the time, and they actually spent a lot of time on this, building this thing out, and it's beautiful the way they've structured this. It does look like you're traveling through time, but you know they had some pretty fun equipment, and they no other show could do anything like that or would have done anything like this. So they were taking advantage, and what they were doing was being extremely creative with it.
I'd also sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Isaac.
I'd also say that, like, just I guess to add more to what you're asking about, like the interior of the console room or whatever you called it, it evokes feelings of Tomorrowland back in Disneyland '55, but a different version of it, like maybe the British version of like what the future is going to look like, and or like you know, here's your like family room or whatever, here's like what the house of the tomorrow is going to look like, and it kind of gives me that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think we see across the board in Doctor Who the general vision of what the future is going to look like based on the year that it's created, and that's a joy to watch because, you know, I mean, obviously when you watch like Next Generation Star Trek or something, like it's not far off like from what we would understand what the future would be. But if you go back to the 50s and 60s, like everybody thought everything looked like, you know, it was going to space and stuff like that, you know. But that's a really good point. I'm glad you brought that up because it truly is. That's how they were able to utilize their creativity to build something that they've never shown before or built before. Anyway, the end of first.
And one more fun fact for Isaac, because I know all the Doctor Who
heads or
Minmongs, etc.
What are you guys called again? Whovians. There you go.
There you go.
Unless that's derogatory. Sorry.
I would never call myself a Whovian.
Let me read my tattoo on the bottom of my foot. Yeah, I never have either.
I would never call myself a Whovian. I think that's like an American.
Is it? Because I imagine a British accent saying Whovian.
No. It's very, as I remember, it's an American term.
I'm gonna have to look that up later.
You don't believe me?
But I just want to leave with one last fun fact for Isaac. So, as Josh mentioned earlier, this was broadcast on November 23rd, 1963. It was supposed to broadcast the day before on the 22nd, but something happened across the pond that was very significant. So they postponed it for the 23rd instead. And then supposedly there was a major power outage in England, so a lot of people didn't even get to see the first episode anyway.
And they replayed it.
Oh, well, there you go.
They ended up replaying it again. So, but yeah, something very significant happened on the 22nd. That's why I get it confused all the time.
Yeah, I do that. I do that too.
Well, that's actually how I always remember when both events happened, because I just remember one and then add or subtract. But anyway, yeah, there we go. Then on Unearthly Child, we haven't decided, but I'm imagining these are going to be released on the feed omnibus style. I mean, not back to back, but all at once. That's hence no dot episodes. So we will leave you with a short intermission while you listen to this ad for Novice Elitists. I don't know.
We have ads? What?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Caleb, one of the many hosts you can find over at the Novice Elitists Film Podcast, a podcast title that is not only clunky and confusing, but is also inaccurate as we not only cover a wide variety of films, we also look at comic books, novels and novellas, TV episodes, theater productions, and many more endless topics. We cover a wide variety of series including all the films in the Godzilla series, We've covered many Superman animated films and comic books, including All-Star Superman and Superman for All Seasons, films in any genre, including many horror films and science fiction films. I'm sure we got something that you'd like. So join me and my fellow co-hosts Isaac, Eric, Sean, Brianna, and many more voices over at the Novice Elitists Film Podcast. Give us a look, hopefully got something that you'd enjoy. And don't turn that dial, folks. We got one more episode of An Unearthly Child coming your way, next on MHC. And just cutting in, I can't stop myself. I have to comment. If you've not seen Unearthly Child, coming to it for a first time, this is some quality stuff. Sure, the dialogue's a little bit clunky, and hey, it's 1963 cheap production, but come on, there's some good drama in there. I like that. I mean, hell, I don't know how to start fire either. I mean, I'm right there with those guys, so I think this is a solid one. But anyway, yeah, here you go. Here's the next episode.
Something I forgot to bring up at the top of the episode is someone who just passed in Doctor Who world.
Who's blue?
Yes.
A nice
Simon
man.
Fisher Becker.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice man.
Absolutely nice man.
Mm-hmm.
We also met him before.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since I became friends with him on Facebook back in 2011 or whatever it was, he has wished me a birthday via Facebook every single year, including my last birthday a few months back. And
he was a nice guy.
He's a one of a kind.
He was a nice guy, and very sad that we lost him. Are we doing a moment of silence here?
Yeah. What was the name of the guy that played Winston Churchill?
That was
Ian McNeice, another person we met.
Yeah, I think he's gone too.
I think he
played the Baron Harkonnen in Dune on the Sci-Fi channel. That's Ian McNeice.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
Absolutely.
I did not know that.
And many other things,
Some
of
wild
course,
stuff.
besides Dune and Doctor Who.
No, he's still with us. I'm wrong. He's still with us. He's 74 years old. He's kicking and screaming.
Yeah. We should get to his episode on this podcast in about
2032.
2035?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was off a little bit. But speaking of which, let me hand the controls back over to Josh so he can take us to our next destination.
I don't know why I got so lucky as to take us in. Okay, everybody.
You've always done it.
All right, so everybody has their legally purchased or non-legally purchased DVDs from Laos ready to go.
Oh, I was like, Laos? I wasn't thinking of the country name. I was thinking of the creature.
I was just trying to get something in Southeast Asia. That's what came to mind. So this time we're going to go to number 2, which is the Cave of Skulls. And we're going to start that in 3, 2, 1, play.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just realized I haven't done a Doctor Who commentary in probably 10 years.
Well, classic. We did some New Who commentaries.
I haven't done a classic, in about 10 years.
Space Pirates. When we did that one, that was probably.
But that was like 10 years, or that was more than 10 years ago.
I don't even remember doing the space. We did the Space Pirates. What were we high?
No, Pirate Planet. Sorry.
Yeah, Pirate Planet.
All right.
Pirate.
Space Pirate. That's different. You're talking about one where I have to listen to it. Because there's nothing left of it.
Yeah, never mind.
Right.
For obvious reasons, I get them mixed up.
But I'm glad you mentioned it, because that's the one where I drunkenly profess my love profusely to Karen Gillan.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, boy.
I think it was the Space Pirate Planet. That's what.
Now, this guy and the other guy, because I think the two cavemen look alike, the actors portraying them.
Yeah, really.
They always remind me of Will Forte from SNL. And so I always feel like it's Will Forte in the story.
Sort of see it.
Just with a beard.
Good Lord.
So, am I right in thinking the old woman in the tribe, she comes back in Doctor Who? That's what she's called, Crone.
Yeah.
What episode does she come back?
The Time Meddler.
Oh, the rape victim.
Yeah, she's the one who got raped and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's right.
That's a fun Doctor Who.
That's a family show.
That's a family show, yeah.
In England.
He's trying to make fire with that bone. Oh, this is our friend. What's her face? God, why don't I remember her name? She was in Creature from the Pit too. And
Yeah. This is the pit. That is the creature.
And it looks like a bone.
You talked to the creature. Yeah.
her name was Eileen. Eileen something. Eileen Way was her name. God, it just came out of the brain.
I wonder how many children saw this program when it aired and were trying to make fire the way he was just now.
With like a bone, with like a.
Yes.
He's making it with like it's like a tibia or something. It's like a leg bone.
He's reenacting the scene with Mr. Miyagi and the Karate Kid.
Za will never make fire. Is this where the kids like got really bored as he was,
Like, I don't know what you would do with it, but for some reason, I wish there was more spoiler episodes of Doctor Who where they went to prehistoric times.
What is this, a cartoon? Who tries to do a... What is he doing?
I don't know. But what I can tell you, I mean,
Sid and Marty Krofft consulted on this episode.
He's rubbing that bone pretty hard.
Yeah.
But
He's like, here, look at this nest I bought at the Blair Witch gift shop.
yeah, you want to talk about nests? Like there were like nests of, in the clothes themselves. Like there was bugs and stuff like that. It was freaking miserable for these people.
Hanna-Barbera were in London at a hotel, saw this, and they came up with an idea.
By the way, you know what the woman's name is in this? You know what the woman's name is?
What?
Her name is Her.
Oh, right.
Obviously.
Like, couldn't they come up with something else there? I mean, maybe she.
Well, she, her.
I didn't say she had her pronouns in there.
So there's her, there's Crone.
I'm saying those are alternatives. Like, she refuses to go by they.
Mm-hmm.
The Beatles called, they want their hair back.
And there's Kal and Za.
The TARDIS shrank.
No, it's just different perspective. It's reverse perspective, Eric, on this.
Well, you see, the way it fits in my room right now is it's projected on the television screen.
You know what's nuts is that, the TARDIS just took off. I mean, imagine if they went through hell like this every single time the TARDIS went, took off.
Right. Very Star Trek 4 Voyage Home. The Voyage Home.
What is that? Oh, God.
Griffin?
Weird stuff in the background there.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
Yeah, I was as well. But the Griffin is
They
very
had
prominent.
so much more furniture in the back in the.
I always like that. Always like that. And then you get to like when it's just a coat rack.
Exactly. Or there's a bed in the background, but you don't see it until like like Planet of the Daleks or something.
Yeah, there's a food machine back there. I think they've got.
Yeah, the food machine comes in like an Edge of Destruction.
Yeah, there's like a butler and a cook and all that shit.
And then you never see that shit again. It's gone.
I love how the TARDIS is so fancy. It has a 3D wall and a 2D wall.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. It does.
Incredibly.
Yeah, the 2D wall is funny because like every Patrick Troughton episode, they only showed the 2D wall. So
yeah.
Riddle me this. What sort of hat is this Doctor wearing?
it's a Kafkan. I just made that up. I'm not sure.
Shit.
He only wears it in this story.
No, I just saw a post on social media today that showed this style of hat and said it was called. Well, I'm not making this up. That said what this was called. In the military, we call it like a flight cap, but that's not the name for like the regular casual wear.
I think this looks furrier.
It is furrier, certainly, but it has the same exact style with the crease down the middle.
It was bought at a furrier's.
It's actually mink.
Vegan mink.
We've gone back in time. No shit.
That isn't on the screen. I always thought she sounded like such a bitch there. You didn't see that on the screen.
Could you imagine if, like in modern Doctor Who, every time they acquire a new companion, like they're all stupefied for 30 minutes of screen time?
I know. Now they're stupefied for like a minute.
Yeah,
like,
barely a minute.
And it's like yes, it is. It's bigger on the inside. Oh, okay. It's like, oh, okay, and they just accept it. I bet you're going to say it's bigger on the inside. I mean, like Stephen Moffat tried to do it like 17 different ways.
Well, you have to.
It's smaller on the outside.
What sort of coat is he wearing?
It's a Kafkan.
why your humor, Josh. It reminds me of that It's Saturday Night or whatever movie. Like, it just reminds me of that style of 70s wisecracking.
That's where I learned it.
I swear Billy Crystal is joining us on the commentary.
Wouldn't be the first time I got compared.
Not Billy Crystal from Fox News, but...
No, that's Bill Crystal, and he's not from Fox News.
Sorry. My mistake. With a K.
That's Bill Crystal with a K. Lean on me when you're not strong.
Okay, we're about to see a scene that has not aged well. The doctor pulling out his pipe.
Well,
What?
I'm still trying to figure out what a Kafka is in real life, but a Kafka is an article of clothing.
I think pipes are cool to look at, despite, their tobacco and harmful effects to the body.
Yeah, and of course the doctor smokes in every episode.
As you all well know, I have a smoking addiction.
Or is it a plot convenience?
And there goes the hat. No more hat.
And by the way, like, this is where you establish the police box. Why did it change? Maybe I'm ahead of you guys. I don't know.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was a thing where it just often just shape shifted into
It's supposed to.
random objects.
It's
but-
supposed to. It's supposed to, but the budget didn't stand for it. So they decided to break that circuit, which is called the chameleon circuit.
I can't imagine why it's called that.
And it's stuck in the police box shape.
Me in 1963. Are you from the future? You seen this? Like this thing keeps going on. How long?
And of course, it's another trope that the doctor always carries a Geiger counter for the entire series.
Except he only carried it for like 2 stories. But whatever. Look, it's a seal. Oh, never mind.
Longhorn. I don't know what that is. Well,
Stick
a hornless longhorn, I should
They
say.
found it at a dime store.
Oh, I should be watching this with the production notes on. So
So you can sound smart.
I can spout random nonsense to you guys. Well, it's not nonsense, random facts.
Yeah, I'm actually watching the dialogue, so I can stick with that.
Yeah, so I can keep with the story. That's what I do. Otherwise, I have no idea
Story?
what's going on. I can't believe they flew out to Arizona to film this episode.
Yeah, really spent the budget on that one.
Actually, Eric, you're wrong. It was Lanzarote.
Understand, I think he's got so many Doctor Who jokes that only make sense to
This was
To me.
0.2% of the population.
Well, I should have saved it for the last one, but at least for these like 2 companions there, I don't think Chris Carter was looking at this thing like when he was making X-Files, but I definitely like see later on. I do see some Mulder and Scully in them, where we have like one is clearly like, all right, I'm more open to what is actually happening, and then we have the hard facts, like I need to be convinced here, but it's like gender reversed.
You're 100% correct.
She's not fully on board, but she like is like, I'm a little more.
I've never heard anyone say that before.
The X-File did not show up until Spearhead in Space, but I'll just say that.
Bless you.
Jesus.
Pipe.
Sorry.
Pipe.
Yep, a doctor staple.
All right, I'll pipe it down.
He made fire come from his hand.
Guess he really man, geez, the people nowadays. We went to the future and everybody's like looking for a dart. Like, good grief. Like, what happened in the past like 20,000 years?
Eric, she just said don't panic, so this should be like, you should instead, at the end, just put in her saying, or Ian saying don't panic, instead
Yes.
of one of us saying it.
I always said I would do that, like during the Matt Smith era when he would say "Don't panic," and it was too much work. Our editors went on strike.
I mean,
the
our
request.
editor should be able to handle something like that. He's a professional.
Well, he's Canadian now. We've moved our production studios, so
It's to save money on No, it's not.
yeah, exactly. But those damn tariffs are screwing everything up.
Yeah, exactly. It's 25% more now.
Hey, don't worry. I hear that your president's getting rid of the lines, so it won't be a problem much longer.
That's right.
Yep.
Susan, calm the F down. You are Susan, you are out of control. It's like you've never done this before.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking that when I was watching this earlier today.
So, if Matt Smith had like anxiety problems in his era, like why didn't he take like seek therapy?
Well, he'd have to go to the Time Lords to do that. 'Cause
Oh, okay.
If he takes a Xanax, it'll kill him.
Bad reaction, I suppose.
Oh boy.
I don't even know why I'm laughing.
A Prazolam.
Same thing. Yes.
Did she just sit there all day?
I know, right?
Well, they don't have a lot to do. I mean, once the food comes in, it's like, what do you do? I mean, it's not like the boss is coming. It's not like Elon Musk is sending him emails saying, "What'd you do this week?" Like that would ever happen.
Anyway, I went outside, saw some rocks, went for a walk, saw some more rocks, sat
I
on a rock.
understand this is extremely historically accurate.
Oh, clearly.
Because we know that they spoke English and everything, right?
Oh,
Yeah, with English accents.
Fun fact, the same set was used in Dune Lynch's 1984 Dune.
How the hey did they still have this lying around?
Siege Tabir. No, it wasn't in Dune. That was shot in Mexico.
Really?
It was.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I got lost too, but I'm just watching to see who wears a kaftan.
Like on the head or on the around there?
Wherever they wear it.
You're gonna have to wait for an episode where they go to Africa in Doctor Who.
Wait, what shoe would you call the doctor wearing?
What shoe would you call the doctor wearing?
Yes.
Shoe.
Clearly, that was correct English. What type of shoe is the doctor wearing? There we go.
Penny loafer.
Huh. For some reason, I thought it was going to be Kafka, but never mind.
William Hartnell's stanky ass.
Why, was he prone to, like, explosive diarrhea or something?
He looks great here. Like, he looks as alive here as he did for most of the series.
I sense sarcasm in your voice, but I can't tell if you're being truthful with me or not.
As we progress, you will see an actor slowly die on camera, like the former U.S. president.
Is that legal?
Which former president are we talking about?
What are you talking about?
The last one.
Oh.
Isn't he in office now?
Joe Biden?
Joe Biden. I'm talking about Joe Biden. You will see William Hartnell decline as years
and get his lines wrong.
That's true. He actually, at one point in season 4, said that he's beating Medicare. I don't know why he said that.
Why is that? That's not funny. Why is that funny? Something's wrong with me. I didn't take anything.
Had some caffeine recently?
No. I think I missed Josh or something.
See, no. Here's the reason why he laughed is because the dialogue here is unlistenable. That's why.
I don't know. I heard it through my headphones pretty nicely.
For some reason, Josh doesn't like this story.
He laid down to sleep, and I, Cal, carried him here to make fire for you. This is like a 4-year-old wrote this.
Fun fact, and I'm not being racial right now.
Racial.
Who's Rachel?
Yeah, I heard Rachel. Oh, you meant racial.
I said racial, but
who?
He's about to say something bad.
No, but when you translate Mandarin word for word, like literal translation into English, this is what it looks like.
So basically what you're telling us is that this whole show was written in Mandarin.
Well, for the cave people.
Right.
The cave people. Right.
So
but seriously, because I took one semester in college of Mandarin, and when you translate everything, it's like
definitely
me hot now. Rough bed.
Yeah, you know what? That's fine. I'm it's great that you learn Mandarin or a semester worth. But the fact of the matter is, this is on television in Britain, and like Zal rubs his hands and waits for all to remember him. Like, I can't even imagine going through 3 episodes like that. Actually, I've done it. It's just it's brutal.
I did not know you had this aversion to this.
Yeah, this is
dialogue in this story.
It's pretty dour.
Yeah, but it just reminds you of how cave people always talked back in the day in media.
Is this the first instance of that?
Yeah,
I thought
we have the tapes. We have the
Flintstones
tapes.
Notwithstanding.
Flintstones talk perfectly. They were great.
He opened his eyes. He's got his eyes open and he.
Oh, he's alive.
Oh,
Sweet.
yeah.
So
I think we should kill him.
Why don't I just take a nap while I'm here?
By the way, he opens his eyes like, oh, he opened his eyes. Let's kill him. Like what?
Fire cannot live in men.
Oh, little woman's lib here.
give me some tacos and I'll tell you otherwise.
Yeah, she was one of the first strong female characters on Doctor Who.
And her name is Her.
How much could she lift?
Dude.
It doesn't matter. He can.
This is why people know us for our commentaries. I'm sure Zarban's website's going to pick this up. Once
Yeah,
we
you know
post
what?
it.
Actually, like all of those first, I mentioned this earlier, but I can just imagine them getting bitten by fleas by those things, and just
I know.
it sounds horrendous. Like, why am I doing this in 1963? Like, my God.
You know what? Those costumes, you know what? I bet you that they're crabs. I bet you they're filled with crabs.
Yeah, exactly, or something, right?
Like,
And it's like it's 1963. And
Yeah, that's how costume departments were in the 60s.
And they-
like
they're
infested
making
with
me wear.
crabs.
They're making me wear this, and I go home every night. I make £1 a week, and I go home every night, and it's like I'm bitten all over my body. It's like, what the hell am I doing with my life?
There's so many things we've already said about this episode and this story that I've never heard on another Doctor Who podcast before.
And it goes. This guy went to his wife and said, "I'm making £1 a week for this crap."
Look at that acting. He's got like a full-time underbite.
He's doing the white man's underbite. Is that what you're saying here?
What?
Nothing. It's a Harry Met Sally joke.
Oh, okay, Billy.
Yeah, of course, because I have to stick with my my character. Oh God, can you imagine? We're 3 minutes in, you guys.
I don't mind this. I don't mind this.
It's
I
like-
do
It's
not
3
mind
minutes
this.
in. There's
I'm with you, Eric.
12 minutes to go.
Look forward to another 108 episodes of Black and White Doctor Who with crotchety Jones over there.
I think I'm on Team Crab.
Oh my God, you know what? William Hartnell's
think-
wig. His wig almost came off there.
I'm
Go ahead.
on
Go ahead.
Crotchety Jones's side here. I'm on Team Josh. I think this story is overrated.
It's brutal.
I will say that back in the day, 10, 15 years ago, no, I was not a fan of the Trap of Gum, but I enjoyed it today. I don't know if it's because I'm getting senile or older.
All right, here's a scary fact: is that Bill Hartnell in this is only 3 years older than me right now.
Oh,
Jesus.
Isn't
Yeah.
that wild?
Can you believe
Like, I don't look at. By the way, I still have hair, and it's still brownish.
you don't wear a wig?
No, I don't wear a wig. Not this
You
wig.
wear a
But you
Kafka?
can see the wig if you pay attention. You know?
Yeah,
You
but
see it.
can you imagine? Like, so that would make William Hartnell about 42 in this. if he's 3 years older than Josh,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
crazy, man. Brits
Exactly.
age like something else.
I'm 39.
Again, kill her.
Well, that didn't go where I thought it was going to go.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, like, what does a 58-year-old man look like in 1963? Look at William Hartnell.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, he's only 58. Like,
I challenge you to a match of mercy.
and they have this. They have a basically that rock is supposed to be like a knife. It's supposed to be sharp. Whatever.
I got cut by a rock when I was young.
Yeah, it can be a nasty scratch. You can get a nasty scratch from it.
I have a huge scar. I'll send you a picture of it. Looks like a Nike swoosh on my ring finger.
What?
Put it as a post it with the episode, Eric. Just
Oh, okay.
Like
No,
you know.
yeah, I had this huge scar on my right ring finger from where I got cut by a rock when I was like in 4th grade.
Look at
I
how
went to
hairy his arm is.
I went to the ER for it. Is
That's-
that hair or dirt?
That's like a
Both.
combo. It's a combo.
A combo.
Combo number 5.
He does have hairy arms, I grant you, but I think the top of his arm is more dirt.
Well, the actor is 164th Neanderthal.
That's some werewolf shit.
No, that's
there.
where the fleas are biting him right now.
Well, his last name's Lang, and that means long in German, I believe.
Oh, now it's into political intrigue. Like it's between Cal and Za.
That is a serious gap between the teeth.
Doesn't make her a bad person.
I wasn't saying that. In some cultures, it's considered an aphrodisiac.
Yeah, you were. You were totally saying that. Oh, here's Eileen Way in the same position, telling us what she feels.
That is Shakespearean company acting.
So she's acting the Eileen way.
What is
Actually,
happening?
John,
is this what MHC has become after a decade and a half of podcasting?
That is an impressive dad joke.
You know, yeah. I was literally about to say that. We used to be cutting edge, like 90s SNL, and now we're doing dad jokes.
She comes back in Marco Polo. She's played by Irene Way.
Oh God. See, he went racial before I did.
You know, I'm
Rachel.
I'm going to say the health department clearly needs to pay this place a visit because look at how filthy.
You know what? I'm going to use Rachel going forward, Eric. Now, every single time it's going to be something along those lines.
Even though I didn't even say Rachel,
I know, but I like it. It works.
Maybe I do a British pronunciation or something.
How do these?
Another one
okay,
I have.
Can I just ask this question really quick?
No.
How did these four modern people get tied up by a bunch of cave people who don't understand anything?
Because, these people, they have the intellect of Ewoks, okay?
But Barbara's laying down, they're just kind of hanging out with the cave skulls. It's
well, you imagine that each one of these cave people could be top 3 in an Iron Man competition.
Totally. And oh my God, did that episode go? Wow, went by extremely fast.
1 down, 2 to go.
Only took 7 hours.
I seriously can't wait till we get
it's
the next
Way.
one.
Yay!
I
was wondering who played Borg.
But
that's Mr. Lang.
Ron Grainer. Norman K. We all remember Norman K.
Classic.
David Whittaker wrote the Target book for this, I think.
Another thing you'll hear us do later in commentaries, Isaac, is we like to comment on boots, but there wasn't that many boots.
Wow.
Was it a Kafka?
Did you say boots or boobs?
I totally heard boobs.
What?
And I was thinking about where would we comment on boobs? And was I that drunk when we got to part 3 and 4 of everything else we've seen?
Boots! Wonderful boots. A great pair of boots.
Actually, if it was Romana, we would see the boots, right?
Oh my God. We'd see the boots and the other boots.
The other boots.
Just put it in the boot, as they say in England.
All right, well that's episode 2. I don't want to waste time trying to figure out what we just watched, but I'll just ask this. Isaac, any questions?
Yeah, what would you do in this scenario where you got tied up by a bunch of cavemen?
I think I'd yell loudly at them and tell them I've got tigers back at my place or something. I don't know. I mean, obviously, you know how somebody says they've learned every trick in the book? Well, these cavemen have not. Okay? So you just got to find one trick that's in the book that they don't know. And I know, you know what that is?
What is that?
That's foreshadowing.
Can you feel it?
Can you feel it? Can you feel the foreshadowing?
I'm looking at my, so I made 4 in my hand and I'm looking at the shadow right now. What am I supposed to be looking at?
No, that's a 5 shadow. That's completely different.
5 shadow? What are you talking about? So you're gonna have to take me for my word. I'm literally looking at my 4 shadow right now.
You're infecting this great young man with your dad humor.
Well, I mean, there's stuff to talk about. Enjoying it so far. Definitely very serialized.
Oh, and by the way, Isaac, another reason why we're not doing every single 60s episode on this podcast
is because I will literally hang myself.
From what?
Out to dry. But
ceiling fan.
This is a family podcast.
Bridge.
You just want it to be able to get on your YouTube or something, right?
Yes, exactly. So we're obviously 2 in, Isaac, and I get the feel that you're into this.
Yeah, because I mean, the reason they had the cave, they went to the caveman, was because the scientist man, he was the teacher. Excuse me, he was being, to the doctor, this doctor, he was like, I need concrete evidence. I need proof. Like, I don't believe this is all illusionary. And the doctor was very, very confrontational and aggressive as well. Like they meant like, yes, they were butting heads like rocks. And I think that was the whole point, is that they went back to like the furthest known arguments were obviously, but now I don't know if this is Earth or not.
Oh, wow. I never heard this take before.
They go back to the furthest, like when arguments like were starting to become a thing where it was like, infighting between like tribes or whatever. And that's they want hard evidence. They want hard facts, concrete proof of that you can make fire from your hands.
Listen to this scholarly take on the tribe of gum.
Exactly. So we're trying to,
they were just making sure that the test pattern didn't go out that day. But yes,
sure,
yes.
Comparing and contrasting in a way between like the doctor, the science teacher, and then the tribe. I guess.
Well, I don't want to let you down, but not every episode of classic Doctor Who is so Shakespearean.
Yes, they are, Eric. Come on, all Shakespearean.
And so well
Space
composed.
Museum.
That's a funny one. Me and Caleb did that already for MHC.
Oh, boy.
Because Caleb used the randomizer, as I recall, and he was so upset. He sounded like Josh talking about that story.
Oh no, that'd be fun to make fun of. It's so terrible.
I can't do it, but I was like, when Caleb gets exasperated about something.
Do I know?
What does he always say when something is just putting him off?
Oh dear.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Caleb was like, I can't remember if we did a commentary or a discussion, but he just kept saying like, "Oh God," like because of the sets and costuming.
The Holy Lord wept or something like that.
My giddy aunt. Yeah. So stay tuned because we only have 1,049 more of these to go. But closing out the show today, this is Eric.
This is Josh.
This is Sean.
This is Isaac.
And until next time...
Don't panic!
We're doing them all tonight, right?
Yeah, if we get stuck in a time eddy, we can bang it out.
Although busting heads with rocks, Isaac, that was very apt because we're about to see that.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. But speaking of foreshadowing, earlier in the first episode, there was mention of the mannequin, and supposedly, according to IMDb trivia on story,
God,
they said that perhaps the fact that the mannequin's head is bashed in could be foreshadowing what is to come.
You mean Autons?
No.
Tauntauns?
No.
Oh, and Spearhead in space?
No.
We're on Hoth. Got it.
Tribe of Gum. Anyway, I don't even need to say stay tuned because there'll be like another.
Oh God! You know what? They found something backstage and they just put it there. I mean, let's not put.
Come on, that's the fun of doing a classic Doctor Who podcast.
Let's not give him that much credit.
Just to get into the minutia.
All right, can we do the Forest of Fear before I fall asleep, please?
No, we're not doing the Forest of Fear, Josh, because Isaac only watched the first two. He only had time to watch the first two.
Oh, that's too bad.
Oh, that makes me feel much better.
No, I'm sad, Sean. I'm sad we can't continue.
So, Isaac, for next time we record, we're going to have to come up with a backstory of why
your homework,
Sean and Josh have left the room and are no longer with us.
Your homework is to watch The Force of Fear and The Firemaker. Believe me, it is it's riveting stuff.
It's scintillating.
By the way, that thing I was foreshadowing earlier, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, guys, if we were going to do Force of Fear, I wouldn't have been putting all this padding here or something like that. I would have jumped right into it.
Oh, good Lord. Well, that's good. That actually makes me happy because I'm not going to...
Yeah, I thought you guys... Sorry, I thought you guys knew that. We're just doing the first 2 tonight.
That was not mentioned, but it's all good.
Yeah.
Let's do the pilot episode now.
No, it feels kind of quaint and nostalgic to do all the stupid Doctor Who in-jokes on a podcast.
And they are stupid in-jokes. Yes, they
because
are.
like on the Best Picture podcast, we only get like 1 or 2 Doctor Who in-jokes per 3-hour episode. But now
I used to when we did the Shaken Not Stirred. I tried to throw in at least 5 Doctor Who references on each one. Actually, Isaac, I'm jealous of you not having seen Forest of Fear and The Firemaker. Now you have to go watch those. So
I don't think it's that bad.
I didn't say it was that bad. I just said I'm jealous. You don't believe me?
But there are some episodes, a few of classic Doctor Who that are not the greatest.
I mean, Eric hasn't watched the War Games yet, so
that's my Moby Dick.
It doesn't have to be. You don't have to go to deep sea fishing to do this. You've got the DVD. You just have to sit down.
Of course,
and watch
I'm not going to break the cellophane. First of all,
if you don't break the cellophane, I'd sell it, like the car, like the Lamborghini we were talking about.
No,
I would sell it. It's worth $1 million.
I'm going to continue to rent out the storage unit where all I keep in it is a sealed copy of the War Games with the humidifier.
I'm telling you right now, that's worth $1 million.
Yeah, and someone's going to be doing that show. What's it called?
Don't know.
The Garage
of Death?
No, Storage Wars. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
So someone, like, I'm not going to pay my fee, and then they're going to do Storage Wars, and they're going to open it, and they're going to go, there's only one DVD in this entire unit.